is already 9 millionaires. So 100%, I agree with you. But this is the thing. This is all because we are disadvantaged, right?
We need to work that much harder.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you can't let the person who is already has the advantage now also do
override.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So once we understand these things, it's like, okay, then and it's not necessarily, how do I say this? First of all, I'm a bit against the concept of competition, because what it does is it takes away the focus, no pun intended, of what you're working on and looking at the person next to you, that kind of thing. However, like it or not, the lines have been blurred. For instance, I'm sure you saw early this year when the Apple Top 100 songs came out, right? And
kudos to Dimension.
And there was only 2 Kenyan songs on the Apple. You see what I'm saying? Like it or not, we are all in the same. We're all in the same, pool and everything. But that's what I'm saying. Because of that, we need a lot more of content being put out. Now, I will tell you, there's another missing piece that's important. Investment. Okay? Because music is a very capital heavy business to be able to penetrate all your favorite artists in every genre of music, whether it's Bad Bunny, whether it's Jay-Z, Drake, whether it's Burna or whoever it is. Trust me, there's some serious investment that's been made, and the truth is, it's never clean money. That's a fact. You see what I'm saying? That's a fact. Everybody who's pushed it or whatever it is. So here's the thing. Do we have money out here? We do have money out here. But the problem is we haven't had a proven return model. Okay? Okay? Because, you see, it's easy to say, it's easy right now for guys in Nigeria to get investment, because look at the numbers this artist has done, from touring to streaming to revenue and everything. That's okay, cool. But out here, other than maybe a Sauti Soul and everything, I know there's 1 or 2 artists who they make noise and everything, but it hasn't necessarily. We haven't had enough examples of that return where the streaming revenue, not numbers, but revenue, as well as the touring revenue, has shown its actual return. I am hoping to be that template. That's part of the goal with this album. I'm hoping that it does what it's supposed to do, regardless of how long it's going to take. But once it does that, then it's able to attract people who are willing to say, hey, we're willing to invest with these artists, because we've seen how it can actually return. And it's used as almost like a template for other artists to be like, oh, okay, so this is how we can be able to get money. Because, like, without funding, you cannot do those high budget music videos. You cannot do that marketing to get you proper playlisting. You cannot do, like a lot of different things here and there to be able to, get you. So we end up having to work 10 times harder. I'm working my ass off, pushing, this and everything. You know what I mean? So, but with that investment, that changes some things a little bit.
But I'm saying yes and no, but also it's because, yes, we've got the money in this country. But I feel like what fundamentally, in my opinion, is the big problem is the lack of discipline with Kenyan artists.
Major.
Do you understand?
Major.
Very, very massive lack of discipline.
Yeah.
So as much as I know artists who've got an investment, and their immediate solution was to mend a Gemini to my pop champagne.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
So it's like, bro, why did I give you 20 million?
Yes. Yes.
If in 3 months' time,
for sure,
it's gone missing and nothing has gone into the music.
100%.
You understand?
Yeah.
That lack of discipline, I feel like, is also a big problem, because for artists outside of this country, outside of this almost market, let me say almost this market, they have completely understood that the music, it's what's going to get me to the next place.
For sure.
Getting this 20 million, whatever, right now, this moment, is nothing, because I could make 300 times this in about 6 months' time.
Yeah.
Let me use it for this purpose.
Yeah.
We don't have that discipline.
Yes.
We get caught up in the hype.
Yes.
Because our entertainment industry is thriving, but our music industry has a big problem.
Yeah, for sure.
And for me, that's a very, very big disconnect, because they're supposed to go hand in hand. So if the entertainment industry is thriving and the music industry is not, there's a very, very big problem.
For sure there is. And I agree with you, but you have to realize that's in every market, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's in hip hop, whether it's in Afrobeats, there's always those people who get in first, get the access to the resources, and then they just
they choma.
They wanna choma. You see what I'm saying? So that's them. It goes back to the volume thing. That's why we can't rely on just the artists who are there.
Okay.
That's why we need more artists coming out, putting out content, because it's a law of a probability thing, right? Just the same way for every 10 songs you put out, maybe one will be a big hit. Same thing. For every 10 artists, one will get it, right? Just the same way, whether it's conferences, whether it's, to do the things that you're supposed to do when you're pushing a song and everything. One out of all those artists will be able to, will actually do what needs to be done to be able to penetrate that, right? Most of the artists right now, when they put out a song, what do? Link in bio, right? right? It's link in, it's at that. Pin
the one Instagram.
You see what I'm saying? And everything.
Okay.
Whereas when I put out a record, even from the times of Dimension, as soon as I put that song out, when we were done recording it, I did not even wait for the song to be mastered. I started playing it at my events, right?
Yes,
in front of crowds.
In
front of crowds, and I'm playing it like 3-4 times. All right, I'm not done there. Then I go to clubs. I would go to 3-4 clubs in a night, if not 5 clubs in a night, on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
And play.
Go to the DJ booth. It's not even my gig. I'm going to somebody else's gig. Yo, can you please play my song? Can you please play my song? Even if these DJs know me, I'm still like out there working and everything. Go one club or whatever it is. Then I'd get on TikTok, start making any kind of TikTok, whatever it is. I'm getting 2 views, I'm getting 0 likes and everything. It didn't matter. I was just trying to create some sort of momentum because I'm an independent artist and I didn't have that marketing budget. So I had 0 marketing budget to push that song. But fast forward to now, look at what it's done, right? And the same thing for Reels. And I realized like the more you're doing that, it creates this momentum that people are like, yo, like I see it. And as Bien said, self-love is contagious, right? And even for him, he would see me tagging him all the time. He's like, yo, like
he's like, bro, I have a life.
You see what I'm saying? But also it also motivated him to where he's like, yo, you're going so hard. I feel like I also need to
go equally
help.
As hard.
You see what I'm saying? And that kind of thing. You see? So what I'm saying is it'll require artists who are, yes, putting out quality music, but also have the work ethic and have the patience and the discipline to understand it's not about having a big record or a big project just one time. It's like, are you in this for the long haul or are you in this for the short term to get the girls and get the likes and the view? Man, that comes and goes, man. I've seen them come, I've seen them go. You see what I'm saying? And you have to understand, especially as an artist, it's a very brutal business. It's it changes on you very quickly. 100%. So when you're in there, you got to maximize, milk it as much as possible. And the only way to do that is say, okay, let's look at what has been done before and go a different path. What worked? Cool. Double down on that. What hasn't, then let's reward effort. Let's reward people who are actually putting in the effort, people who are actually, doing what needs to be done, that kind of thing, and, leave it at that. Alrighty.
So, my darlings, we're going to get into some jams. First of all, I'm going to start with I'm going to play my personal. As much, I know, kuna watu kuna vitu zao, whatever. We're going to play my jams from the African Ambassador album.
Yes.
And we're going to come back, chop it up kidogo.
Yes.
Before we get into a conversation with Prince Nyambok in regards to running a record label in the 254 and the shenanigans that it entails. Because the wahalas are many.
True Hollywood stories.
Let's do this.
Dimension, you got me in another dimension. Another dimension, you got me in another dimension.
Break it down, man, bring it up slow. You a bad chicken, do you already know? Back to back, baby, you kill the show. Worldwide, it's international. Switch it up, on down, hitting on the low. Nobody messing with the flow, star. And you know she got on. Worldwide, it's international. When you control me, control me. Oh, when you control, na na na. When you control me.
Worldwide, it's international.
Dimension, you got me in another dimension. Why lie? Another dimension. You got me in another dimension. Why lie? Dimension. You got me in another dimension. Why lie? Another dimension. You got me in another dimension. Why lie? If you wanna ginger, yeah. If you wanna chill with a winner, pull up on a nigga, nikuonyeshe maisha, yeah. Nitahakikisha usitopuliza. Anywhere you wanna be, baby, I'm ready to go. Sema tuanzie Paris ama twende Tokyo. When you control me, control me. Oh, when you control, na na. When you control me. Worldwide is international. Dimension. You got me in another dimension. Why lie? Another dimension. You got me in another dimension. Why lie? Dimension. You got me in another dimension. Why lie? Another dimension. You got me in another dimension. Why lie? Dimension. You got me in another dimension. Why lie? Another dimension. You got me in another dimension. Why lie? Control me. Oh, you control me.
You're tuned in to IK Radio, your number one entertainment.
Worldwide is international. Worldwide is international.
You got me in another, oh my life, another dimension. You got me in another dimension. Well, I love you guys. Good night. Make some noise!
You're now live on the stage with Sandra Bartonjo.
PMG. I'm focused, man.
If you don't know what this means, you should ask your father, please. If you don't know what this means, you should ask your family. Whatever they say, or whatever they do, I don't give a, don't give a. Whatever they say, or whatever they do, I don't give a, no, I don't give a, no.
You're tuned in to Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug.
Let me tell you, there's something that I've realized, even with a lot of the music. Yo, this, don't get me wrong, I know we love shit and all that. This is she's in love, but she's trying to
PMG.
It's okay.
I'm focused, man.
Not only my lover, you're my best friend. Baby, you're my shorty, you're my reason. Me, we feel like puzzle pieces. No matter the timing or the distance. Not only my lover, you're my best friend. Baby, you're my shoulder when I need it. Me and you, we feel like puzzle pieces. No matter the timing or the distance. We sababu tosha ya kukupenda wewe. Ndo maana na kuangazia, cause I want the world to see your light. Oh, moyo wa upoza na hisia zanipanda wewe. Everywhere you're taking over, kweli kaka umenogewa. Oh, you're my reason. Oh my baby, when you're Saba, when you're Saba, oh when you're Saba, when you're Saba, you're my reason. Oh my baby, when you're Saba, when you're Saba, oh when you're Saba, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, when you're Saba, 1, 2, 3, 4, oh when you're Saba, 1, 2, 3, 4, oh my baby, when you're Saba, oh when you're Saba, you take your time, you know you are bad, tryna make me sweat, baby, just say that. Kweli mimi nimeangukia, nitakupa sababu kwako natulia. The way you love me and you mean it, is how you show up when I need it. The only one that got me thinking, there's no me, baby, if I ain't got you. Tuwe sababu tosha ya kukupenda wewe. Ndo maana na kuangazia, cause I want the world to see your light. Oh, moyo wa upoza na hisia zanipanda wewe. Everywhere you're taking over, kweli kaka umenogewa. You're my reason. Oh my baby, when you're Saba, when you're Saba, oh when you're Saba, when you're Saba, you're my reason. Oh my baby, when you're Saba, when you're Saba, oh when you're Saba, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, when you're Saba, 1, 2, 3, 4, oh when you're Saba, 1, 2, 3, oh my baby, when you're Saba, when you're Saba, oh when you're Saba, my baby, when you're Saba, oh my baby, when you're Saba, when you're Saba, oh when you're Saba.
You're tuned in to Icon Radio, your number one entertainment plug.
Sevens Music.
Stop, bitch.
Toto anafanana na nani? Yana macho kama Nadia Mukami, atapenda gym kama baba yake Ali. Ndo maswali najiuliza tu kichwani. Niliposikia na kupata, nililia machozi ya furaha. Ingawa sikuwa ready kukupata, sina budi sasa kuitwa mama. Ila usijali, mama yako mchapa kazi sana, baba yako ana roho safi sana, wazazi wako wote maarufu sana. Baby wangu we utatesa sana. Nawita jina Kai, 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 Kai wangu we. Namwita jina Kai, 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 Kai wangu we. Kai, 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 yo, yo. Kai, 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 yo, yo, yo. Kai, 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 yo, yo. Kai, 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 yo, yo.
mama yako ni mchapa kazi sana, na baba yako ni na roho safi sana, wazazi wako wote maarufu sana. Kai wewe utatesa sana.
Your children You're tuned in to Icon Radio, your number one entertainment platform.
You're now live on the stage with Sandra Bartonjo.
Alexis on the beat.
Weka mziki, leo nataka kucheza. Nina mabeshte ndani kwa party, tunataka kucheza. Shida ni mingi, leo nataka kucheza. You know, we just wanna party and enjoy. Leo lazima nyama kwa wingi, ugali kidogo, pombe kwa wingi, chesa kidogo, mapenzi kwa wingi, chuki kidogo, situzitoke mdogo. For the sun fits on us, tujibambe pamoja. For the sun fits on us, tulewe pombe pamoja. It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. Mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapare. Mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku si tunapare.
Holla the man them, holla the girl them. What you want every day we do it for the fan them. Sexy ladies in the party, man about money and you know it's an anthem. Give thanks to the Most High. Every day a blessing you see and we multiply. Bigger picture now your good side. A bigger picture now your good side. Jaba kwa wingi ngoi kidogo, usiogope choma foto. Pigia Cindy, pigia Jojo, na tunarudi soko. Cause I know you sacrifice, tujibambe pamoja. I know you sacrifice, situchome kimoja.
It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. Mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapare. Nina mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku si tunapare.
Nina mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapare. Nina mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapare.
Good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. Good vibes, and inshallah. It's all about good vibes, and inshallah. Mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku tunapare. Mabeshte ndani kwa gari, kila siku si tunapare.
Kubonga ni free, inaitwa lip service. Economy steep, panganga ni kazi. Supply koji ya demand, beni na fook deck make purchase. Femi una need feature, azim sani una need practice. Opinions in abundance pause, keep it to yourself, con is it by force. Mims ni stress, jolly of course. Nani na impress, need me endorse. Nas J tense na wingi wa sauce. Check vision close, Queen MC talk to me kiongos. Get mbizo ni post, Twitter, Femi squeezy floss. Usimanjua opa kwa chini mbona, moshi uenda juu. Mwishi maisha kideja vu, kisi kismati maisabu. Mbono kwe mpole bonga, cheki kusinya fungua roho. Monyeshe kidole songa, utalipa kugonga. Kubonga ni free, fungua roho. Na kama kawa yo talk ni cheap, beni ya jioni uneza afford. Karibu customer, inaitwa lip service. Karibu customer, inaitwa lip service. Kubonga ni free, fungua roho. Na kama kawa yo talk ni cheap, beni ya jioni uneza afford. Karibu customer, inaitwa lip service. Karibu customer, inaitwa lip service.
Yeah, kubonga ni free. Story needs a babe wana cheap. Chali udai kukufana mi, kunipata zi, kunyonga ni free. kubonga ni free. Ongeza haga, ongeza matits, uneza blitz, shoga na jik. Uza shamba, nunua jeep. Wewe, bitch unadhani na joke na kubit kaule producer alinipovoke. Painting bado yeni chocolate 20 na nasema ninaka 20. I hope utabaki your talk. Kwani nimezoza imebaki your Forbes. Kwa ila ifatia God I sought. Highlight kuna dai na import. Na waambie nitachika side zote. Venye nimerudi kuna watu nimeshock. Uongo mingi ukibonga unachoke. Hiyo chains ya origin ni props. Beat kikam na wash. Beef letter ila ram ni pork. My dame wanna run na roll. But the real men wanna buy my bow. Them cannot come for me. When you see me, know you rocking with a badass beat. Mamble no wanga petty. Kinsengenya msisahau kusema wangeshi.
Kubonga ni free. Fungua roho na kama kawa hiyo talk ni cheap, beni ya jioni unaweza afford. Karibu customer, karibu customer. Inaitwa lip service. Karibu customer, karibu customer. Inaitwa lip service. Kubonga ni free. Fungua roho na kama kawa hiyo talk ni cheap, beni ya jioni unaweza afford. Karibu customer, karibu customer. Inaitwa lip service. Karibu customer, karibu customer. Inaitwa lip service. Sijajisumbua na mble inanilisha ni vishi na moni anapeana kwa wingi 90/50 na jengesha mwiki na system bigi na shike misiri na split your plate. Mande mwalianza na mimi niko chini ya utaja na sort ngumu relate. Watu wanakimbiza ulimi na mbea ni utaku kwa plot. Boss madam ndani ya kibog na kam mimboka ni god na farm. Ziki ni organic kipande ya to force my fans on a pre niki drop my jam. I keep it classy, I'm not just anyone. Ham kuicheki wangeshi na femi one. Fuck your feelings, fuck your opinions. Boss some business, you chat na minions. Look ni safi na si ati ni video shoot. Bado na shangani nini miudu. Moshi ni ya ganja na lika ni soup. Kubonga ni free. Fungua roho na kama kawa hiyo talk ni cheap, beni ya jioni unaweza afford. Karibu customer, karibu customer. Inaitwa lip service. Karibu customer, karibu customer. Inaitwa lip service. Kubonga ni free. Fungua roho na kama kawa hiyo talk ni cheap, beni ya jioni unaweza afford. Karibu customer, karibu customer. Inaitwa lip service. Karibu customer, karibu customer. Inaitwa lip service.
They're not necessarily signed to you, right? You are now working in the 254 Premier Book with artists that you're signing onto your label. And we've been having conversations about, I don't want to say, let me just say like the disparity that is the Kenyan music industry and the Greater East Africa. And let me explain why I'm saying the Greater East Africa. I don't know if you guys saw this story. What is Diamond's girlfriend again? I keep confusing all the female. Now, for me, all the TZ female artists, I don't know why they all look the same. It's the same thing they're having with like the American girlfriends of rappers.
Yeah,
for me, they're all exactly the same person.
It's
like,
a template.
When Shade Room posts someone and they're like, I don't know, so and so, I have to scroll down and read the whole caption to understand which girlfriend is. Because for me, it's the same person who they posted 2 minutes ago, you know. So Zuchu went for some godforsaken reason to do an American tour.
In Dallas, Texas.
Kukachomeka on day one. Day one. Wow. In Dallas.
Wow.
First of all, you know, pick Wyoming. You know, like a small little cabal on the side. Yeah. If it has 30 of the usual locals, it looks like it's full. Yeah. Why would you pick the biggest state?
Yeah.
Like, what? I was like, hold up.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you why,
but now, and then now my big problem was this, and this is, and you know, everyone was like, Sandra, like, relax. But I was writing and I was saying, Zuchu, you have not even broken into the East African market. Why would you allow your boyfriend to convince you to do a tour in the States? You understand? You've not broken into your own hometown area. As in Kenya, haujafanya show moja in the 254. You've not done a single show in Uganda. But somehow, you convinced yourself that if you go to Dallas, you're going to sell out a stadium. bro. And so this is part of, and I want to understand it, because the artists you've signed, I'm sure when they came on board, guys have dreams from here to Kazakhstan. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And there's legwork that I always feel artists in the 254 and the Greater East Africa don't do. And they have convinced themselves with the one breakout song, they've made it. If you look back at like Sauti Sol, singing outside of Alliance Francaise, collecting money in polycaps, guitarcase, literally that is the foundation as to where they're at now, that they can sit and say we charge 5 million and nobody can argue because they've done the legwork. This thing we have right now with Kenyan artists, where because you made it, you're now trending on TikTok, you have somehow convinced yourself that I'm the one, shocks me every time. Is that something you're dealing with right now with the artists? How many artists do you have by there on the record label?
Right now, I have 3.
Okay.
On the main full
yeah,
support and everything, and then I have 2 more coming in on the publishing side.
Okay.
So it's just not just a record label; we are a full service.
Oh, you're doing publishing
company.
as well?
Yes.
We'll chop that. We'll
yes.
discuss that shortly.
So yeah, you have to do. Hey,
we'll discuss the publishing part because whoa.
Yes, and there's a lot of misconceptions there too.
Yeah.
But what you're saying boils down to something that, and it might sound rather reductive saying this, but is lack of education.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
And with education, I'm not saying schooling. I'm saying just even the simple fact.
The business of music.
The business of music.
Is lacking.
And I'm sorry to say this, right? If you're an artist, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, yes? Ideally, yes? In a perfect world where Austin has an operational budget of 1 million Kenya shillings a month, all you do is write. Yes? There is a team around you to make sure everything that you write and create blows up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Ideally.
Yeah.
But here in the 254, where our music, just as Kenya, doesn't even scratch 0.001% of the global music market, right? We have to be a bit more agile.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
And you have to draw a lot in terms of information from here and there.
Yeah.
And read and expose yourself to as much information as possible.
Okay.
You understand? So many artists don't do that. That would
100%.
say that I would say is the main part of the legwork. Fully Focus here can speak about his experience, right? Which trumps anything you'll ever read, right?
100%.
His experience, and he draws from it because he can experience and he doesn't pick anything from it and just keeps moving. But he's able to draw from it, articulate, and then like this meme I saw about Tony Stark. Tony learns from his mistakes.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So you do that, but many artists are all, my song is out, let's push it. As he said, link in bio. To the point where recent contracts that I give artists, one of the obligations, you have to create content
around the song.
Not even around the song. I tell them you have to create content on social media about you.
Yeah.
We will be the ones say, okay, this song of yours can work with that content you created.
Yeah.
Because what you have to understand is, no, the consumption is heavy, right? Media does say that we're tumefika streaming fatigue, right? Where now people want to consume content and have music as a by the way.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
That's why songs blow up on TikTok, songs blow up on Reels.
100%.
Because it was, hey, this thing is going well with the image, but I like the way it's making me feel.
Yeah.
Shazam.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm usually having this conversation with the artists and telling them, listen, I have training in business, experience in business. As of next year, I'm actually 10 years in media and entertainment as a whole, right? And I'm like, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But now the artists, which also is their blessing and curse, they need their ego to have them perform, to share, to be larger than life. But also I tell them, when you're here with me, first of all, let's start from I am your biggest fan. You understand? Step one, I am your biggest fan.
Yeah.
No fan is going to contribute the money I'm contributing to you.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is heavy. You understand? And I can say I'm privileged in the sense that I'm coming from a position of I love the work I'm doing. Right? Because I could have taken my money anywhere else to do something else.
100%.
Shamba Kamunu.
Yeah.
Right? But I even tell my friends, even my board members, I took on a board.
On a structure,
you get. I tell them like, yo, this is the shamba.
Yeah.
These artists, this music, this catalog is the shamba.
Yeah.
Right. So when I have a conversation with an artist, I want it's usually like, I'm your biggest fan. Nobody's going to contribute over 500,000
on you.
Just on you.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So having prefacing conversations like that has helped us at least understand where I'm coming from.
Okay.
But at the same time, we'll have the conversation. They'll go home. They'll be on their phones. They will see what other artists are doing.
Yeah.
They will see what is being played on the radio. Right?
And then text you.
And then text me
like,
like,
I'm not on top 10 of Kiss 100.
In fact, and then the thing is, our business strategy from the get-go, which to be honest is a little bit avant-garde for the time we started. I started the label registered in 2018.
Yeah.
And we started operations in 2019. Right? Actually helped by a grant from Tony Elumelu.
Okay.
Funny thing is, I was the only media and entertainment company in Kenya selected for that.
Love it.
So that when I was writing, they even tell you, write a business plan for this label.
Yeah.
Show me where the money is coming. To the point where I started understanding, this is why Atlantic, because you have to even go back and see why Atlantic was doing what they were doing with Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
You get? Like, so this is why the contracts like this. This is why artists were having problems.
Yes.
So all that information enabled me to I've never had contractual issues with my parties.
Okay.
Because I have so much I've drawn from, like, this works for the market. Kenya hatuna advance ya $1 million nitakupatia ukae. Excuse me.
Excuse advance.
But then, kwanza we have that conversation.
You reminded me of those biopics of like Akina Biggie Smalls. So when you see all the oh my god, I die.
So you see, those are the things that these people are exposed to. Like, to make the music, the record label signs you, they give you money. They're like, first of all, that money is for you to go to record.
Not for you to go and share.
Yeah. But now the artists then were smart. They say, we have this money, we'll buy the liquor, we'll rent out the house, we'll rent out the cars. Chances are they're not even renting out the cars. The record label has a deal with Toyota to ensure that this is happening. So we're selling something so aspirational. But now the audience, particularly the artists, we don't have that education to tell them, okay, music inaendanga hivi, entertainment inaendanga hivi, to know that it's a step, and what they're doing is just the marketing budget. They think that's the lifestyle. You understand?
Hey, it's a hard tea for tough.
So me, I'm here telling them, I can't have cars in the video because, first of all, the music you make does not reflect the image you want to sell.
It's not authentic.
They want a Bentley truck. You're like, bro, what?
I'm like, you'd have more success with actually making your music video as a reel.
Yeah.
You get?
Yeah.
For your 100, 1,000 fans, who would like
this is gonna make more sense.
You get? Because they'd be like, oh, you are doing it. You're working. Because at the same time, I reconciled personally, even my journey, because the label's journey is my journey in a way, is that I reconcile the fact that we just need, right, for people to associate two things when it comes with an artist. This is the basic thing. Who I am, what I stand for, and this is how I've presented song for.
Okay.
It is as simple as that. Everything else, marketing budget. Everything else, kiki. Simple.
Okay.
You get? So when we have those conversations is when an artist starts losing point of those two things. That who you are as an artist.
What you stand for
and what you stand for. And when you said something about interconnectedness, the brand alignment, right?
Yeah.
As early as August, we were having a conversation where an artist was telling me, the way I want to be on social media is not the way I am
in real life. You're like, sorry, what?
Disconnect.
I'm like, bro,
there's a disconnect.
The wire is missing.
Yeah.
I was like,
but a lot of it goes to the fact that people are seeing end results on social media. You see the Nickies, you see the the Burners and all, and they see that, and it's like, I want to emulate an image, not understanding that in order for you to actually get that, you have to be authentically that person.
Yes.
Right? Jay-Z became that because his thing was, I am a hustler. I am about money. He talks about money. He was always talking about money in his music and embodying it. And when he started blowing as an artist, he would do deals, right? To be a businessman. Like the theme remains the same, right? The theme remains the same all throughout and everything. And it cuts across to everywhere. Whereas we don't have that understanding. Let me say, when I say we, I mean the generation nowadays. They don't have that understanding of, no, actually, this is it has to be a natural extension of you.
Yes.
Anytime somebody has tried to put on a costume, a face, whatever it is, you'll get fatigue. Eventually you'll get fatigue, or whatever image you're trying to portray, you will attract the energy that comes with that image, right? If you're an African artist trying to walk around and say you're a gangster, you do this or whatever it is, that lifestyle, you will attract that lifestyle, and you don't want that lifestyle, right? Same thing if you're a chick and let's say you are a wholesome girl and you wholesome church going girl, relationship girl, but you're out there just talking about popping, city girls and everything, whatever. Right. Eventually it'll affect you because the kind of guys you'll attract will be that's what you see what I'm saying. So it's like that, it's to understand that everything should, I believe, it should be an extension of your authentic self. Again, 100%. If we talked about like the Adele situation, right? Adele has always just talked about relationships, issues. This is what I'm going through, and this is what I'm sharing. And because I'm sharing this, I will attract as many people who are going through the same thing to like and support my music, and they will grow with me throughout the journey in everything that I'm doing. So
no, 100%. But now focus in your experience running a record label. Okay, because it's a full, like, other than you just being an artist, other than being a DJ and doing this album, you actually have a record. You've got artists that you've signed on. What's that? Because you see, you're coming on board experience from outside of the 254.
Right.
You understand what I mean? Because you've literally been in the spaces of, whether it's Acorn and so in all the work you guys have done. So you've been in that space. So coming on and roping in Kenyan artists, what's that been like for you?
I mean, it was
signing.
It was definitely well, first I was very selective, because when you're signing someone, it's a big responsibility, and I'm not one to play with anyone's life. Right? You're actually promising a future to this individual who has hopes and dreams, and your job is to say, I see something in you, and I want to be an asset to help you get there. But you have to understand, it is you. You will have to do the work. It's not you sign a paper and now I'm the one working for you. No, I am there to assist you. But it's only as much as you will do. That's the biggest disconnect that I think we've seen. But it's actually not just here, even out there. And it's taken years for artists to get to the point where it's like, oh, okay, this is what this is what a label means. They're literally there to support what I'm doing, right, and that kind of thing. Just the same way, even with the distributor, when you put out music, a distributor will assist whatever it is that you're doing, but don't expect them to do the work entirely for you, even if you're a label. You see what I'm saying?
70 million streams.
You see what I'm saying? There's still some things like there's a responsibility that you have that won't that cannot be replaced. Number one. So I will say that because of that, I was very selective about who I was working. The biggest thing I've learned is there's a lot of talent everywhere in the world. Talent doesn't make it, right?
100%.
It's more than just that. Fine, you have to have the talent, you have to have the marketing capability and all these different things and a passion. But more importantly, for me personally, you have to be coachable. You have to be willing to listen. You have to be willing to, yes, you have your own opinion, you have your own identity, you have what you believe, but you have to be willing to coachable and be like, listen, because when you have a talent, and I've made this mistake, many times, when you are the talent, you sometimes are too emotionally attached to the thing that you're doing, and you need somebody who is in your corner but is outside of you to have a different perspective and be like, hey, I think you should go about it this, like you said, somebody who is invested in you, who's telling you what it is, not people out there who are just telling you things, who just happen to be making noise out there. You see what I'm saying? Because if I use the example of what you said with the Zuchu situation, what happens is, people forget, somebody once said, don't confuse your Fs. Don't confuse your followers from your fans and your fans from your friends. Okay? Your followers watch what you do. Your fans pay for what you do. And your friends are just there to support you. Right? And the meaning of that is sometimes people go based on followers. I have 1 million followers. I have 1 million, subscribers or whatever it is. But they're not fans. Fans are people who are standing in line to pay
for a ticket to come and see.
You see what I'm saying? And so what there's a and because again of social media, somebody may have a lot of views or a lot of fans at a certain, not understanding, actually 80% of them are in East Africa. They're not in the US or whatever it is. So don't expect those numbers to translate to a show out there.
Outside,
Number one. Number two is you need to do proper on-ground research with people who've executed, because also what we have is we're seeing Nigerian artists going out selling venues out there, right, and everything. And so some East African artists think, yo, I can just go do the same thing because no. The dynamics are completely different. Number one, that population thing is real. It is real out there. Okay, you see what I'm saying? You know, because, and I'm telling you, as somebody who's lived there, is, you know, the biggest populations is Nigerian and Ethiopian. Those are the two biggest African populations in the US, in every city or whatever that you go to, right? Number one. So by the time you're narrowing down to a Tanzania or a Kenya, the population are like this, and it's only in maybe certain cities or certain states that they are there.
Can I add something to that? And it's funny that that's the information I was consuming yesterday. Nigerian Americans actually make more money than some other ethnic communities in America.
Absolutely.
Of course.
So they already have purchasing power.
They have purchasing power, so they can even be able to buy $60 of a ticket, $100 of a ticket. You see what I'm saying? So the reason why that point is actually very important is because, you see, even when artists are asking for a certain fee, right? There's something called sellability, right? There's systems that are already put in place. If you go to a big American label out there, a big venue, and say, you know, I am Sandra the Queen, and because my song has 10 million views on YouTube, I want, and people are asking me to book whatever it is, I want $500,000. They will ask you one question. Okay, $500,000. Let's say each ticket was gonna be, you know, $20. So their thing is, which venue that actually sells 200 or is it 2,500? You know, 2,500 tickets have you done to be able to match that math? You see what I'm saying? You have to have that touring history that you've shown. I filled a venue that holds 500 people, and people are paying $20 or $100 so that I'm justifying this amount I'm asking for. It's not an emotional decision. It's a mathematical, broken down decision. So by the time Burna is getting $500,000, it's because he's proven to sell a 20,000 arena venue with X amount of tickets. So before you as an East African artist are going out there asking for $10,000, $20,000 and everything, you have to show what is it that you've done to be able to do this, right? Forgetting, like I said, the Burners did start with the 500 people, 1,000 people, and then you work your way up, you know, in terms of touring.
Can I add something? I see when you speak about Burna, when you speak about Wizkid, there's a lot that's happened within 10 years.
Yes, of course.
There's a lot that's happened within 10 years. And that 500 people, that 1,000 people, to the audience right now, it has to have a digital component. Especially if you want to break right now. That's why when I was telling you the artist demos, like on their five friends, and that's the relationship you're building.
For sure.
Because right now, of course, touring and interacting with the artist directly is big. But we're going to a place where virtual AI and all those things are coming in, right? It's the thing. Recently, we had a cover art that was actually made by AI.
Oh yes, so because every artist was on that, and I was like, how do I get on this?
You get?
I was like, let me want a cartoon version of myself.
You get? So I'm like, if you're not practicing with that coffee shop, that 10 people in a coffee shop in Wyoming is your 10
absolutely
TikTok
feed
followers.
who you have right now.
100%.
Feed who you have right now.
And I'm glad you're saying that, because they're not seeing that these people started in small bars. Wizkid was actually featured.
My friend, the first show Wizkid did in the US, I'm the one who did it in Atlanta. March of 2012. Okay? And it was him hosting an event. He came to host my event.
He wasn't even doing like
it was
okay.
And I have footage of this, by the way. Okay? Trust me. We have it. Okay? So it was that. That was in March. Then in August, he came, he did a radio interview. Then he hosted the event. Then in August, 4 months later, however many months later, he actually came for his tour now. But with EME, right? It was him, Scales, and Banky W. And they did did New York, of course, Atlanta. And again, I have footage of all this stuff as well, because I hosted now. And the party that he came in March, half of the crowd knew him, half of the crowd didn't know him. We had about 400 people. Half knew him, half didn't know him. But it was like, all right, let's give him the platform. Do his thing, whatever it is. by the time, and he kept putting music out. By the time he was coming in August, we can now do an 800 capacity room.
Yeah.
You see that kind of thing. But again, he was coming as a group. So that's not even solo, right?
But
so that worked, and continuing to come over and over and over and over. And what he was asking for finance was not the same.
Of course.
You see what I'm saying? You know, the last show I personally did with him, I'll tell you, was in Las Vegas in 2016. And at that time in 2016, it was a 2,000 capacity venue.
Yeah.
Completely sold out.
Yeah.
And funny story, we do that show. I had him on Friday, Sean Paul on Saturday, and we do that show. A month later, One Dance drops
and shut down.
Literally after that show, we were talking about doing his tour.
Yeah.
Right? And when that song dropped, everything was like, yeah. Like everything started getting pushed back.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because we're talking about doing a US tour, a 10-city tour.
Yeah.
Cool. I spent a month or so going around the US, getting these quality venues, like talking to them, securing them and everything. And by the time I'm coming back, I can't even speak to him. You're being directed to ICM. Not even Sunday, because Sunday we still whatever it is.
Yeah.
Now with him and Jada, now it would be like, no. You know, now we talk to ICM.
You can't talk to
ICM
no
is the booking agency for Chris
yeah.
Brown and all these, because now he had entered the Sony, you know, whatever it is. So things start changing, and then the numbers start changing.
Yeah, of course.
We go from now $40,000 to $80,000 to this, that, and the third. And the point of all that is to say that, like you said, this thing is gradual.
Like you've got to do the legwork.
Steps and gradual.
It doesn't just happen.
Right. And so that's the biggest thing that if nothing else, East African artists to get from this interview is understand this thing is a process.
Yes.
Don't go based on just the noise you're seeing on social media. 100%. Those are followers, but those are not fans. It's a percentage difference.
Huge difference.
Big difference. And once we understand that, be like, oh, okay. And then another thing, working with people who understand the market. Oof. Because that's another thing. Somebody will get a call, oh, there's a promoter who's trying to book you or whatever it is, and they're offering this and they're saying they can do this or whatever it is. The one thing all these artists never ask for is, what tours have you done?
Listen, now that you've said that, let me tell you. I've been doing events almost, going to 11, 12 years. Some of the biggest ones we've done in the 254. And this year, actually just this year, once COVID ended, I think I'm genuinely living in a time I'm having PTSD because the legwork we've done to build the event scene in the 254 to the point where, and I know this because I've had conversations with different people, even with Brenda's mom saying, right now for artists even based in Nigeria, if you've not booked a show in Kenya in your year's calendar, they feel like you've not necessarily made it because we've literally built this entertainment and event space to that extent where if Kenya say come, you're that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It's like Africa made it kind of thing.
You know, like literally, we're those guys. So when I see these 1-2 moments of these promoters who are canceling flights of artists, not booking accommodation, I'm so stressed because I'm like, artist and artist manager. When this phone call came and this guy said, I want you to come so to Kenya for a show. How is it that you left your home country without hotel booking sent to you? Because those are numbers you can call. You can literally call, hi, Radisson. Is there booking for 3 days? It's been paid for, blah, blah, by such and such for this artist. That's the job of your manager.
Absolutely.
Flights. You paid for yourself to come. Okay. And the guy told you he'll give you the money and you get here. Do you not understand your own brand?
Yeah, for
you understand? And it also goes back to me, and I keep saying this a lot on this show. Management. We're in such a weird place where, oh my God, this is my childhood friend. We grew up together. He's my manager. That's not your manager. Not at all. And especially in the 254, I feel like a lot of that happens, and people are confusing a booking agent and a manager.
Big time.
You know what I mean? People are confusing the guy who tells you tonight you're performing at Black Star, then Sunday you're doing Onyx, and then I don't know what. That's a booking agent. That's not your manager. Because your manager is always in the constant business of the brand 10 years from now.
True.
You know what I mean? Your booking agent can book you 7 gigs, but that's not your manager.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the big problems I also feel artists having right now in the 254. And even just understanding also what an A&R is. hold on, because I've seen bios, Hey, people, hey, NR, I'm like, no, ma'am. When the artist handler, when an artist comes, you go to the airport and pick them and take them to the hotel. You're not an NR. Do you understand what I mean? I'm like, you can't even put 3 artists together in a room, and you're calling yourself an NR. You don't even, you can't even name 10 artists of this country, but in your bio it says NR, and it really stresses me out because I'm like, it's so bad when those things happen, because most of the people who have that in their bios, and I say, I'm not gonna call anybody out today, but
tomorrow maybe,
via Instagram in 20 minutes. But I'm like, you have that in your bio, and it's so bad because these are people who've been in the industry long enough, and it sounds pretty to say, oh my God, I'm an artist repertoire, great. It sounds really fancy, but unless you actually do the work, you are lying to people, and it's costing this industry and artists too much.
Yeah, because new artists come and go through the same thing over and over.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, and it's so damaging because you meet somebody like, but I was working with so and so, but that person does PR. At what point? Sorry, I don't understand. They were sending my songs to all the 40. I'm like, anybody can send music to DJs right now.
Yeah.
I just need to DM the DJs with the 254.
Hata kuna emails
Hata kwa WhatsApp groups. But you understand what I mean? But that person has told you that's their job. I'm like, that's PR.
So, but it goes back to what you say. There's a lot of education that needs to happen.
Yeah.
And just to add, and also
the business of music.
Let me just put it in proper context.
Yeah.
We don't have role specification.
Not at all.
Right? And that comes from the fact that Ogopa, Caliph, right? Our grandfathers, I love them. I respect them. I grew up to that music, dancing to Ogopa during Christmas. Yeah. I love them. But there was a lot of expectations for them.
Yes.
And the market and the way things were changing, right? Even look at the economy, things were stacked up against them.
Yeah.
Right? Because these are people who are coming now when the US is now so used to CDs, and these are the late 90s, early 2000s, where Napster was coming up. People are moving to digital, and it's only 15 years ago when internet was heavy here, right?
Yeah.
So we've been playing a lot of catch up, right? So all these tools, all the structures that Ogopa and Caliph built, unfortunately, were not easily passed down to the next generation, where I have to be constantly online absorbing information as opposed to so this artist is giving me this problem, how did you deal with yours last time? You understand? As opposed to that, and I feel just that skill gap is where I'm having to create roles and be like, you are in charge of digital, please come and digital fanya yo kazi, usinisikuone ukifanya vitu zingine
video shoot and hold the camera, relax.
No content ya digital manini ni wewe. I will not come to you, okay, where can they get a show? No,
that's not your
if you hear, tell me to talk to that person. You understand? And that comes from the whole training thing and the business, right? Where huyu ana deal na hii ni kazi yake, and this is how we gauge performance. This is the person dealing with this and this. To the point where sometimes my artists ask me like, okay, so what did this person do? And they get surprised when I tell them, anafanya hii, ukitaka hiyo umulize. Unataka nini exactly? Hii aenda uongee na ule. You understand? And to be honest, it's I may sound nice, I may sound like I got this shit figured out. The reality is, every single day you're putting out fires.
As you should.
100%.
Every single day. To the point, and then the artists are looking at me like, but you're okay? I'm like, bro, poker face. Me, I'm the one who's representing you with our distributor. I'm the one who's telling them, heavy plug in this playlist, right? I can't be the one fired up. I can't be the one
losing their mind.
You understand? So these things hit me. So to the point where we have this running joke with Julie Brenda, one of my artists. She would call me. She's like, yo, they've not done this. I'm like, it's okay. It's okay. Just give me the number.
I got this.
Like, I feel like you're not taking this thing
as seriously. Like, I'm not getting emotional.
You have no idea how I've already seen step 9, step 7. I've already seen where the problem was. And that comes from the fact that I have knowledge, I have experience, and on top of that, I have objectivity, and I have a bottom line to think about. Right? So every situation I'm looking at, I'm bringing all that to the situation. And to ask that of an artist is unfair.
For sure.
It is very unfair, because when are they going to be inspired?
Okay.
When are they going to deal in those ephemeral? When are they going to deal with, I want to feel?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
And that's why when I hear these conversations of like, especially people say, oh, you don't need a record label. Or I'm like, sir.
Not focusing.
No, go ahead. Do you? Go ahead. Let's see.
Sir, like, all out.
Sir. I'm like, sir, ma'am, I get it, right? And I would advise you try it by yourself.
Absolutely.
Try it by yourself.
Absolutely.
First.
If it goes south, holla.
If you succeed, please also call me and share notes.
Yeah, because I would love to see it too.
Because
I would love to see it.
Because even me, right now, even as a label, I'm like, hey, 10 years when the catalog is fresh, and Universal have seen the asset we've built, and they come like putting money on the table. I'm like, here are my terms.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
You get it?
Okay. Yeah,
because I know the amount of work it needs to actually get you, to a point where you're known by one name.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
There is a lot of
people underestimate that work.
So now when an artist is there, it's like champagne. No, I did it all by myself. I got my shows.
First of all,
I'm like, you've got yourself this show. You need a show next year. You need a show tomorrow. And then the conversation of like, yo, especially the young ones, and I'm sorry, I'm not so old.
I'm old.
I'm sorry, third floor.
You are joking.
Jagusa third floor. So I'm like, yo. So when I'm talking to these young people, like, yo, I want to live off of music. I'm like, sir, me, your investor, I need to go to work to make money to fund your recording session.
Your music.
How? Show me the tricks you're using. Because me, who's paying for your album, I need to go to
the math
work.
is not mathing.
Eh?
It's not mathing.
You understand?
Yeah.
So and then it's like, yo, and then the thing is, they use that, the self-made, I did it all by myself. They turn that into Kiki, what I'm calling marketing budget. Yeah. And then they sell that to the following generation. So you have a generation of artists who are like, yo, I'm just gonna do this by myself. 1 year down the line, you have called every DJ, you've gone to every show, nobody's playing you. You're being sent statements by a distributor. You have one bob.
What is the plan?
And then
I want to hear what Focus, because Focus he's got stuff happening in his head right now. He's got things like I can just see that.
No. Look. It's. I think what we have to do is, like you said, because we have a lot of this is a lot of new stuff, right? That's coming, and there's only going to be a limited number of people who will be able to penetrate and actually execute and have success stories. Then it makes it easier for now everybody else to be able to be like, okay, this is what it is. And so what we have to understand is we are still in the building phase. We're still in the building, in the infrastructure phase. Because 100%. And we're doing it while things are still changing. So it's like you're catching up, but you're running on the road, right. you know, that kind of thing. Like you're laying the concrete before it dries, things are being stepped on, and you know, you see what I'm saying? So that's a reality of where we are. But I think that if we have people who are willing to learn, willing to be patient, willing to play the long game, and willing to collaborate, I think there's a lot we can be able to do. I'm very grateful that I've had one artist, Lumi, who's very coachable. Met her again in 2019, and about these types of things, these types of conversations that I'd put together. And since then, the journey to evolve, change, adapt, adjust, and everything has been. That's just on the artistry side, right? In terms of the song making and song creating side.